Grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. Hey, so for the next couple of weeks, next 4 weeks to be exact, we will be doing something a little bit different with the Noodle It Out with Nikki M Rico 12 podcast. Nikki is hosting and covering a 12 Steps in 4 Hours workshop in Egypt, and we are recording that and posting that in 4 episodes over the next 4 weeks. So instead of the daily questions, we're going to get in and dive deep into the 12 steps of recovery through the workbook that is used there through the Big Book sponsorship program. So make sure you go to the link that's listed in the show notes here to download that workbook, print it off, and follow along. Mark it up just like you would the Big Book when going through the Noodle It Out with Nikki podcast. And I'm sure that you can have a spiritual awakening and some new insights into this. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. We're going to get started. Okay, we're around the world right now in Egypt. I want to thank everyone in Egypt for hosting this. I'm Nikki M., a grateful member of many, many fellowships. And what we're doing today is I'm going to try and give you a 4-week, 2-hour each session meeting to break down our condensed version of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And you can use this at a different time. So thank Liza and thank you, Everly, and everyone who's doing work here today. The website, it's in there. It's the bigbooksponsorship.org. You can download the workbook, and we're going to just open it up. You have your sponsee call you, and they're like, someone's called you, Nikki, can you take me through? I don't get to know people. We're going to learn how to be a sponsor right now. I don't want you, the sick person, to take me hostage because you can't differentiate the true from the false. You are in the grip of a progressive illness. So I am not going to waste any time, literally, especially with Zoom. If we're in a coffee shop, if I'm from Toronto, Canada, if I'm in Toronto and I'll take some moments, but I'm not going to have someone go, hey, this is what's wrong with me. I'm going to say, here is this website. I want you to print this workbook. I want you to get a copy of the 4th edition of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we're going to start doing some work. Then what I will do is I will book appointments. And I'm going to ask you maybe sometimes too, Habibi, my Hakmi, to come in. This is how I'm here. We found each other on a meeting, and you begged me, Nikki, take me through. And I said, okay. And then here we are. And I didn't even get to know you. I said, print your workbook and let's get started. And then I said, let's make an appointment. So I booked an appointment. Are you guys booking appointments? And the time change was eating our soul. Remember, I can't do it. And I said, I think you're a year younger than me. I'm 51, you're a year or two younger. And I'm like, you're younger. You figure it out. We finally figured out it was 7 hours ahead in Egypt, and I would make appointments. I would talk in my time zone. I can meet you at, say, 9 a.m. Toronto time. You calculate that in your book and your calendar and book 2-hour appointments. I always book 2-hour appointments with my sponsees, never more. It's too much, never more. Sometimes we'll even finish early, and guess what? Then we have a half hour each. For you to go to bed earlier, sir, because you're in Egypt, and for me to go have a good time in Toronto. So here we go. Everyone, we're going to open up the workbook to page 3, and we just start reading. This 12-step workbook guide substitutes terms and phrases related to alcoholism. And then I'm going to use myself and Ahmed as an example. So here it is. I said, circle the disease of alcoholism, because he said, yes, I'm an alcoholic. And I'm a drug addict. Okay, good. Circle that, sir. Oh, you're just Miss Al-Anon. You don't do alcohol. You don't do drugs, but you suffer the disease of alcoholism. Circle it. See, everybody who comes to 12 step suffers the disease of alcoholism. It doesn't say alcohol, circle it, to include any acting out obsessive compulsive addiction patterns. Circle addiction patterns. That's what we're looking for. So the object of this top paragraph, when you have your sponsee, you may only know their first name. I don't know much more about you when we started. I didn't know you had a family. I'll learn that later. You had to circle all the things that you are dying from. Drugs, all mind-altering substances. See, you have that disease, and I'm your sponsor, and I do not have that. That was, I can take it or leave it, drugs and alcohol, but I will not take it or leave it when it comes to a man. I'll take your husband and your son and your dad. I don't care. Okay? So here it is. And get your sponsees to circle everything, because you're going to get a sponsee who goes, I'm sober off drugs and alcohol, and I want to kill myself. Don't let that happen. Show them how sugar, food, overeating, nicotine, gambling, sex. Nikki, I only have had sex once in my life. Yeah, but you think about it all the time. Love. Nikki, I'm just a love. I always have sex. I don't have love. Yeah, you want love. You're obsessed with your dog. The love of your dog is driving you crazy. Fantasy. Everybody circle it. You're a fantasy addict. Everyone's busy thinking about what their life should be like. What their life should be like. Pornography. A lot of you are sober and still watching pornography thinking that you're sober. That's not what men of God do. And that certainly isn't what women of God do. Overworking. Some of you guys are so busy sober that you are working your life away and you missed your son, your daughter's birthday party. You're too busy to go to the family Christmas party. You're too busy because I got to work. I need money. Tasking. Electronic media, video games. A lot of you guys are parents. You're watching your kids die on this, aren't you? Yep, I know you are. How about social media? There you go, Jason. I'm scrolling my life away and I'm doom scrolling. There's some big things going on in the world. If you're just listening to this recording later, we are on November 4th, 2024, okay? And there's some big things. I'm scrolling my life away. Self-harm. That's nail biting. To those little girls you're sponsoring, women, that's the cutters. That's the not just the nail biting, that's the hair pulling. Remember, this is all the disease of alcoholism. Mutilation. Anorexia. Nikki, I'm not anorexic. Yeah, you are. You're socially anorexic. You don't leave your mom's basement. You don't leave your mommy's house. Bulimia. We all know what that is. Overspending, yes. Debting. That's under earning. It's all the same. Cluttering, hoarding, emotions. Big men here. Big men here. You're going to go, no, I don't. Yes, you do. You snort. You slam piles of fear, piles of worry, piles of, I can't live without you. Those are called emotions. And you're slamming that in your disease of alcoholism. And everybody's codependent, circle it. There it is. There's your disease of alcoholism. The object of this paragraph is that you never need another program. You don't need anything else. It's all here in this 30-page workbook. Let's get into it. You're going to be a sponsor. Put your initials there. Everybody has to put their initials down. Personalize it. So when you're on step 10 and 11 and 12 and you're like telling your sponsee, you've got to go sponsor now. And they're like, no, you're going to take them back to page 3. You're going to show them you're going to be a sponsor, or I'm not going to waste my time. And it's not a waste of time because we're going to read further down that you're helping me. I need you to sponsor. See, you and me, and we talked about this, Habibi, you and I are building a fellowship in your part of the world. I'm building one. Jessica, are you here in LA? All of you, some of you in Toronto. Adam, I see you, and Christy, we're building one in the UK. We are building fellowships here. And anyone can increase this list, and all are welcome. Our format quotes, don't forget that part on the top paragraph. I'm going back. Our format quotes from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, our basic recovery texts. Our notes, commentary, and gender inclusive changes, they're formatted in italics. I had to stop a lot because my sponsee is smarter than me. He speaks 2 languages. I don't. And yes, I'm Lebanese, okay? I'm 3rd generation Canadian. We assimilated too much, but I roll some very good grape leaves. Here we go. We're just on page 3 and we're just reading it. Sometimes I'll have my sponsee read it. Sometimes I'll read it, but we're just reading this and do you understand you're going to be a sponsor? Yes, move on. Do you understand that you don't need another program? That this program that we're doing here, you don't need to go to Overeaters Anonymous. You don't need to go into Gamblers Anonymous. You may need to go into those rooms to spread the message. You may need to go into those rooms to get some more idea about your addiction, some more facts. But no, one room, one book, one fellowship, one disease, one solution. Okay. Helping others is the foundation stone of your recovery. A kindly act once in a while isn't enough. In that blank space, half measures avail you nothing. Okay. To show other addicts. That's what we're doing here. We're showing other addicts precisely how we recovered is the main purpose of this workbook and the big book. For them, that's newcomers. That's your new sponsee. That's the recovered people. Hope that these pages, and I only use 30 pages. My sponsor, Cameron F. in Toronto, Canada, put this together. You and I, Habibi, we didn't go through those back pages, the charts, none of it. We just went through the book, like these 30 pages. Later, if you want, go through that. Go to the workshop at the end of the month. Liza can put that information. There's a monthly workshop for this way of sponsoring the last Sunday of every month. We're just doing a little deeper dive right now, and we're getting this recorded for our friends in Egypt. We hope these pages will prove so convincing that no further authentication will be necessary. And yeah, you're going to have to Google some of these words if you don't have master command of the English language. I had to Google some of them, and I have master command of the English language. In your blank space, everything, Nikki, everything, whatever your name is, needs to recover is in this workbook. And why the workbook? People will say, Nikki, just get to the big book, because there's 164 pages in the instructions that I need to learn. I'm just withdrawing off a life that I have destroyed. You understand? These 30 pages need to be a working part of my mind. This is for lazy people like me and my sponsee that I'm staring at. You, sir. Okay, here we go. We're going to outline the program of action. That's what I'm doing right now. It's a cake recipe, a recovery recipe. We're going to explain how, put your name there, how you made a self-appraisal, steps 4 and 5, how you straightened out your past, that's steps 8 and 9, and why you, that's me right now, why Nikki, why am I now endeavoring to be helpful to them, the newcomers? See, it's important for the newcomer to realize that my attempt to pass this on, to pass the undiluted 12-step recipe, plays a vital part in my recovery. See, I need you way more than you need me. You play oh, thank you, Nikki, for sponsoring me. What did I tell you, Habibi? Don't thank me. At the end of the session, you better go, you're welcome, Nikki. You're welcome. That I gave you my time. Yeah, you did, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Here it is. See, vital part. Actually, the newcomer, is helping Nikki more than I'm helping the newcomer. You understand that? You got to make it plain that they're under no obligation to you. Sponsees, you owe me nothing. My only hope is that the newcomer, will help other addicts. I skip over some of the small words here as I'm reading it. And any key things I'm saying, you can circle it. I just want you to help other addicts. When you, Nikki, when you sponsee, escape your own difficulties. What are your difficulties? Roll your eyes up to the top of that page. It's not just alcohol. It's not just drugs. It's not just your government. It's not just your religion. It's not just your God. You have look at all those things you have a problem with. You see, show your sponsees. Suggest how important it is that the newcomer, NC, the newcomer, place the welfare of other people ahead of your own. You understand. I'm going to break it down for you. You are a servant to the spiritual principles. Nikki gets to keep it by giving it away. It's a pay it forward program. It's a pay it forward program. See, we hope. That's the big book people. That's me and my sponsees. That's me and the recovered people. We hope that no one will consider these self-revealing accounts in bad taste. When I tell you I was going to kill myself and kill my lover, it's not in bad taste. It's here. My hope is that other men and women, other alcoholics, other addicts desperately in need will say, yes, yes, Nikki. They'll see these pages, and we believe that it's only by fully disclosing myself. And that doesn't mean I need to go into detail right now with you about all my acting out behavior. I don't need to do that. I think telling you that I wanted to die and kill an innocent man is enough. That sums it up, because that's insanity. See, that's it. We don't need to get into all the dirty details and sit here in a coffee shop for 2 hours, because everyone look at the time. Where's my watch? Here it is. We are 15 minutes into it, and we are already getting armed with the facts. Yeah, I read the text for them sometimes. Sometimes they'll read it to me. I want to get people through it. I want to speak it because their mind's just waking up. Their mind's dead asleep. Their body's broken. Their whole entire being is broken. Their mind's dead asleep. So I'll just talk it over, because here's where I go with this. Yeah, wake up. It says right here, our hope is that you will see and be desperately in need. And we believe that it is only by fully disclosing ourselves and our problems that the newcomer, that the person sitting on the phone, I don't need to do it on Zoom. You don't need to see my face. Just pick up a phone. That the person sitting across from me in my home, I'll bring him into my home right now, says, yes, Nikki, I'm one of them too. That's when I got you, Habibi. You're like, I'm not just an alcoholic. I'm not just an addict. You didn't say that, Habibi. You're like, oh my God, I have problems. I have money problems. I have social media problems. I have thinking problems. I have a love problem. Like, this is radical. And no, you don't need to go into Love Anonymous. You don't need to go into GAM. You're right here. Here's the solution. And then what do I ask? Because we're here to be sponsors. I say to you, I only have a phone, so I'll call some people out by name that I can see. I don't have a computer. It's not personal. I just know you. I'll be like, Adam, can you teach this page? And Adam will be like, yeah, Nikki, I can teach this page. Or Adam will say, no, Nikki, I can't teach this page. And then I'll say, what can't you teach? What don't you understand? Because I don't care if you get better. I care if you teach this page, because guess what, madam, sir? If you teach this page, you'll get better. Okay. Can you teach this page, everybody? Yeah? Yeah, let's move on. I see you there. So here we go. See, we're already only 20 minutes into it. And in 20 minutes, you guys, we've already established what's going on here. I don't waste time. I'm not going to listen to you, and I'm going to explain why right here. Step one, we, put your initials. My initials are NM. Admitted that I'm powerless over, and I don't mess with any of that, over my thinking. Alcohol, yeah, I'm powerless over. Drugs, all those acting out behaviors. Everyone dive deep with your sponsees. You're powerless over your thinking. And that Nikki's life, put your initials, your life, NM's life, has become unmanageable. Identification, how to share an effective war story. Here it is, how to qualify as an addict. The message. See, this recipe, this 12-step recipe, must interest and hold addicted people. It must have depth and weight. Okay? It must have depth and weight. Because most people, when I say like this, I was going to kill myself and kill my lover, they're just like, yep, that has depth and weight, Nikki. No, I like to get drunk, or I like to steal people's husbands. That's normal. Remember, that's normal in our addictive life. Keep reading. I don't want to drift. Here it is. Tell the newcomer. That's what I'm doing right now. You guys are all my sponsees. We're actually working the step right now together. I'm going to tell my sponsee enough about my thinking, which leads to my drinking, using, acting out habits, symptoms, and experience. And I'm going to encourage you to speak about yourself, but not right now, sir. I don't want to hear it, because I've got a wonderful way to sponsor, and you're not going to take me hostage with your 6 stories. So you're going to tell the newcomer, I'm going to tell the newcomer how I was baffled, how I learned I was sick. I'm sick, full stop. You know, like the monsters, I'm sick. I'm going to give the newcomer an account of the struggles, of all the human aids, the failed strategies that you, that's me, Nikki M, made to stop. I'm going to show, not just tell, I'm going to show the newcomer the mental twist, how my mind lies to me, which leads to the first thought, I need. It's not going to lead you to the first drink, you guys. It's not going to lead you to the first hooker. It's not going to, women, it's not going to lead you to your old boyfriend. It's going to lead you to a thought. And that thought's going to take you to that weirdness, that incomprehensible demoralization. See, which leads to the first thought of the spree. What does that look like, Nikki? I'm no good. And then all of a sudden, life's no good. You all suck. I should die. Better yet, let me take out everybody with me. Spree. And that's in a second. That's in a millisecond. Okay, let's go deeper. Men, I'm not a man, but you are, Habibi. You wrote your initials over that. I'm a woman. I wrote my initials over that. I think, because wherever there's a DR, I put a TH. I'm going to rewrite the workbook. That's what we're going to do, and just write it for thinking. Men and women think, act out. Why? They like the effect, that body allergy, that, what does that look like? Your mouth starts to drip because you're going to have a drink. I'm going to get graphic here. Your penis gets hard because you're thinking about her, right? Like, let's go deep. That's what happens. What else happens? You start to feel like I can take on the world because I'm getting $100,000 check. Ugh. Like, that's what happens, right? That effect, that body allergy produced by obsessive compulsive thinking that leads to my drinking, leads to your drug use, leads to your acting out. Is this your experience? Get your sponsees to answer with a straight yes or no. Yes. The sensation is so elusive. Yes. That while I admit it injures me. See, this thinking, this behavior, this evil thought pattern, my old belief system injures me. Yes. They, Nikki, and this is why you don't let sponsees take you hostage. They cannot differentiate the true from the false. Line out. I have a liar living inside of me. To them, to Nikki, my addict life is the only normal one. That's a big yes. That's why I don't listen to you, because your addict life is your only normal one. Why am I going to let you take me hostage and listen to the things that you can't differentiate between the true and the false? To me, my addict life, my obsessive compulsive addictive lifestyle, and the disease of alcoholism is my only normal one. I am restless. I am irritable. I'm discontented. I'm bored. I'm angry. I'm depressed. I'm self-obsessed. Don't even look at that word depressed. I'm self-obsessed. I'm fearful. I'm not anxious. I'm just in straight up fear, unless Nikki can again experience that ease, that sense of ease and comfort. He's called me. Ease and comfort. You've told me I look pretty. Ease and comfort. That family member invited me to that party finally. Ease and comfort. I get the drink. Ease and comfort. I'm going to make sweet love tonight. I better go get a wax. Wait, what? I'm drifting out. Sorry. You understand where we go here. This is deep. Which comes at once. Boom, real fast. You get that drip. Cocaine addicts, real quick. Meth heads. You get that drip in the... I used to do drugs. I'm 51. I gave that up and picked up men. You get it in the back of your throat and you're like, oh my God, I need that. Food addicts. You're a food addicts. Whoa. You're salivating at the all-you-can-eat baklava bar tonight. Yeah, right. Here it is. Is that your experience? Yes, it is. See, I get that ease of comfort fast by taking a few thoughts, acts that I see other normal people doing with impunity. That means without injury. Impunity. I do it without injury. No consequences. I can watch other people go and talk to people or eat something, or you guys drink something, or whatever it looks like. I can't do that. I have a sponsee. I can gamble and he can't. Behavior patterns fairy. We'll read about it after. So you're getting armed with the facts. After they have succumbed to the desire again, as so many do, yes, is this your experience? Do you give in and start getting angry again, which leads to you picking up whatever you pick up? Yes, right? I experienced that. And then the phenomenon of craving. The phenomenon of craving. You're in your car, driving to the dealer, driving to her house, driving to his house. You're picking up the phone and you won't stop sending the text messages until your kids tell you to piss off. Anybody there, moms, dads? It's crazy. And then we pass through that well-known stages of a spree. We emerge remorseful. I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to say that again, with a firm resolution. I'm not going to think like that again. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to eat. I'm never going to eat like that again because I have heartburn and I can't sleep. That was just the other night. See, this is not easy, you guys. This is not easy. And then it says stages of a spree, we act, and then with a firm resolution, I'm never going to do that again. Is this your experience? Yes. This is repeated over and over again. Yes. Hey, sober. Remember, Habibi, you were doing this shit sober. Getting angry over again, thinking you need something over again, but you're sober. No, we don't get to think like that. And here it is, everybody, drum roll. And unless this person, because remember, I've got my sponsee, they're desperate now. They're hearing that they're sick. My sponsee's hearing that these addict life is his only normal one. My sponsee's hearing that he's in what? What does it say right here? That he can't differentiate the true from the false. That the sensation is so elusive, he doesn't even know what's happening. She doesn't know what the freak is going on. It says, unless you can experience an entire psychic change, an entire mind and soul change. Google psychic. It's a mind and soul change. Your mind must be renewed. You don't think like that anymore. This is radical. There's very little hope of your recovery. So here we go. Everybody look, we're a half hour into this meeting and we've gotten 2 pages done. My sponsee's armed with the facts. My sponsee knows that they don't just suffer from alcoholism. They suffer from everything under the sun. That's what our host said today, Everly. She's got everything under the sun. I love you because that makes you even more powerful. When you've got everything, but you can't play at all. Even the rest of us, we can't play because we're suffering the disease of alcoholism. There's no wiggle room here. And so here it is. Addicts are like drowning men and women. If we don't find some way of keeping our heads above water, we're going to drown. So we look for some kind of power to keep us afloat. We notice there are logs. Everybody, I'm in Toronto, Canada. Niagara Falls is 1 hour and 20 minutes on a good day, no traffic from my home. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world. If you're on a log, you can float along for a while, but when you hit that Niagara Falls, you're going to fall over and die. Some people have survived in a barrel. One person survived by the grace of God. And all of you in Egypt are welcome to come to Canada and see us, okay? And hey, I got a bedroom waiting for you guys if you want it. That's what we do. You invited me to Egypt. There we go. Here it is. These logs looks like they're capable of keeping our heads above water, but when we reach for one of these logs, we find that it can only hold on. We can only hold on for a day, a week, a month, a year, maybe longer. But at some point, the logs fail us and we slip and drown. Don't walk into a room and say logs don't work because they won't understand. We've got to speak big book. This is just for workshop purposes for our big book workbook, big book sponsorship family. But when you walk into a room, easier, softer ways don't work for Nikki M. Human aids do not work for Nikki M. Middle of the road solutions and half measures do not work for Nikki M. There you go. Now, Sponsee, can you teach this page? Sponsee, why don't you recap something that you learned on here? Well, Nikki, I learned that I'm powerless. Stop. You've been reading that in the room for 12 years. What did you learn, madam? Oh, let's see. I learned that I can't differentiate the true from the false. I learned that I'm sick. I learned that I need a psychic change, Nikki. Get your sponsees to recap something that they've learned off each page so you know they're grasping the concept. Not that they're a parrot repeating, I'm powerless over alcohol and drugs and my life is unmanageable. You've been saying that in the rooms for 7 years and you're dying. You're dying. I want to hear what you learned on this page. Oh, I learned that half measures avail me nothing. That's not on that page, madam, sir. What's on this page? Oh, yeah, Habibi, we got into it a few times with this. That's not on this page. Okay, Nikki, calm down. English is a second language. He's doing amazing. I will. See, sponsoring teaches you patience. So when you can deal with your sponsees, you can deal with your 2-year-olds in a tantrum or your 32-year-old kids who don't call you. My daughter, I don't know. She's living life. Okay, everybody, we're on page 5. We're on page 5. My log and loser list. Don't call me a loser, Nikki. I'm sorry, madam. We're going to look at what you lost. This is the name of the game, everybody. Page 5, and you can keep it real simple with the people you love. God, I love this. We're a half hour into this. This is how easy it is to sponsor. This is how simple it is. My log, all my human aids. This is check those easier, softer ways, middle of the road solutions, half measures, human aids that fail to keep you permanently. Permanently, circle that word. See, all these things will be temporarily. Everybody, this will be temporary. I had a daughter. She literally saved my life from crystal meth. I was a type 2. For sufficient reason, I'll stop doing drugs. I was 18. I put that down, and then I picked up money and men. And then when I had my son, that only kept me sober for, not long enough for the breast milk to dry up. I think I threw him out when he was 11 months with the dad and said, I don't want you guys anymore. You hearing me? Sober. So let's check it off. Everybody, willpower doesn't work. Resolutions, promises, I'm never going to do that again. Controlled thinking doesn't work. Harm reduction, substitution strategies doesn't work. Ill health, you're dying. You still won't do it. The object is to get your sponsee to check off everything. I'm Miss Al-Anon. I've never been to detox. You have spent $100,000 on spiritual retreats. Eat, love, and pray, madam. Check it off. I've never been to church, Nikki. I'm an atheist. You sat in the forest naked in a tent thinking that God was there present. Check it off. You got to show them. Nikki, I've never had a dog. Your parents had a dog and you wouldn't walk it. Check it off. Nikki, this is a hard one. When your sponsee comes at you, I have one. She's never had any kids. She wanted them. She's past the childbearing ages. You know how hard that is? They're going to make an excuse. Well, I didn't have any kids. No, you had nieces and nephews that you tossed down the toilet. Your best friend made you godparent. Nikki, I have no family, says the cat lady. You have cats. You get your sponsee to check off everything. Everything. Poetry, memes, everything. Moral and philosophical convictions galore. Get everyone to check everything off. So when they come back at you and they say, Nikki, I'm going to go to rehab, I'm going to say, and I've said it, you've tried that, but go ahead. Give the government more of your money. Bye-bye, sucker. I'll be here. You're beyond human aid. Nikki, I'm going to go see Anthony Robbins. I'm going to do The Secret. I'm going to go do my Eat, Love, and Pray. Nikki, I'm moving from Egypt to Anaheim, California. Good luck. Good luck. The object of this game right here is that everybody go deep with me right now. You are saving hours in a coffee shop, hours on a phone. It's a checklist. I've learned everything about my sponsee in 5 minutes. And Nikki, I've never been to jail. Nikki, you weren't caught. You were planning a murder. In Canada, that's illegal to plan a murder. My sponsor didn't check it off, but he talks about using drugs and using needles in front of his children. You better check it off because in Canada, that's illegal too. Make your sponsees see what they can't see. Show them. It's our job to show them they're beyond human aid. Then take them to the loser list and show them that all the reasons in the world, and I know you, Habibi, my sponsee I'm staring at, you got a good life. You got a beautiful life, sir. And none of this stuff. You checked off everything. Oh, and see now here, I've got my sponsor's old workbook. He gave it to me, his most updated one, because I'm too lazy to even do a new one. And here it is. He didn't check off license and put not yet. No, I'm going to put check it off because you were just too lazy to get your license. So you lost that too. You were too lazy doing drugs. You were too lazy in your selfishness to even get a license. Check it off. You just weren't caught going to jail. Your volition and agency, Google those words. Hey, everybody, the big book makes you smarter. When I went into union negotiations at my big government job before COVID, I would use big book terms. I'm not armed with the facts. You understand? Like, start speaking big book. Your boss won't know what to do. Neither will your friends. I've lost my volition and agency. See how quick heads spin. Check it off. Does everyone understand? We're on page 5. and we're done. I'm just, we're just role playing here and just giving every scenario under the sun, everybody, because it's one fellowship, one solution, one book. And we have the condensed workbook version. Okay. So now we're almost at the bottom of page 5. And now look, we are literally, I got to keep my watch because I always like to show people. Look we're 40 minutes into this and your sponsee is armed with the facts. They're seeing it in black and white that they are beyond human aid. Full stop. They are seeing that they've lost everything. Everything. Well, Nikki, I've never had a home, but you could have if you weren't in your disease. So check it off. You had a home, your parents' home, and you left it to use drugs. Check it off. You had a home. Your wife made you a beautiful home, your husband. And Nikki, you like to throw it out for your man flavor of the day. Everyone awake here? Okay. This is why I qualify. See, this book makes you so smart. Here it is. When you're speaking at a meeting, this is why we all qualify. Hi, I'm Nikki M. Why do I qualify to chair this meeting? And we're on the bottom paragraph on page 5. This is why. And remember, all these things in here, on this chart, the log and loser list is a summary of the first 43 pages of the big book. Cameron has done our work for us. He's picked out everything possible. So there's no wiggle room. You just have to check it off. So here's why I qualify to chair this meeting, to chair my Monday morning Zoom meeting, to be a member of this program. Because when I, Nikki M, honestly want to what? Right? I honestly want to quit. Quit what? And I find I cannot quit entirely. Nikki, do you honestly want to stop thinking your old belief system? Go deep with your sponsees. Because if they change their belief system, their old thinking, they will not drink again. They will not use a person again. They will not go into the refrigerator and become 400 pounds. And based on your log list, make sure your sponsee sees that. You are beyond human aid. Have you been able to stay stopped permanently? Because yes, your children helped you, sir, and your wife and your daughters and your helped you. And yet for a moment, for 3 years, until grandma died and you lost your mind. All right, is everyone awake here? We're in the grip of a progressive illness. So what do you answer there? No, I have not been able to stay stopped. So that's a big no. Or when thinking, everybody, we are doing thinking because it centers in our mind. Or if when thinking, Nikki, and acting out, do you have little control over the amount you take? Oh, that's a big hell yes. I am probably an addict. I don't even like that word probably. You are an addict suffering the disease of alcoholism. Do you exhibit little control when thinking? Some of you saw me recently when I was in Luxembourg. I lost control, so much control. I left 10 days early from my vacation, went to the airport, bought a ticket, and was home 13 hours later for $1,300. I had a plane ticket from my boyfriend waiting for me in 10 days. I couldn't control my emotional natures. I've been here 12 years. You better wake yourself up. And that was stone cold sober. God, I love this life. I don't drift out. I'm here to help you. See, I exhibit little control when thinking if I'm not tapped into this power. So if that is the case, Nikki, you are suffering. I'm suffering an illness. I'm suffering an illness that only a spiritual experience can conquer. Only a spiritual experience will conquer. Everyone awake? There it is. I'm a loser without it. Everybody line out. Every day you need a spiritual experience. Every day you need a spiritual awakening. Okay, I look at my sponsee and I say, well, not look because I'm on the phone. They already know what my mug looks like, what my face looks like. So I say, can you teach this page? Yes or no? Can you teach it? And they usually say yes. And then we move on. Don't let them leave anything unchecked and let them know this is the best way to qualify. Hi, I'm Nikki M. If what I honestly want to quit and I can't, or if I can't control the amount of anything I take, I'm suffering an illness, which only a spiritual experience will conquer. That's a wonderful qualification rather than your drunk-a-log. Okay. No resentments here today, Nikki. We're on page 6. Everybody, we're on page 6. Look at where you are now. We're 42 minutes into our 2-hour session. That's what you can do with a sponsee. Because normally in 42 minutes, I know what you're doing with your sponsee. You're hearing their life story. You're asking them what color nail polish and what's their favorite coffee. You're hearing about how daddy raped them and this happened and they were sold into the sex trade. You understand, I'm not going to hear any of that. I'm going to get you into the solution now because you are a dead person walking. We will talk about these things later. Wake your sponsees up. Don't let a sick person take you hostage. You can't get more time. I can go get new kids. I can go get a new husband. I can get a new sponsee. You're all replaceable. You can get a new sponsor. I can't get more time. If someone knows where to buy it, let me know. Here we are, page 6 of our big book sponsorship workbook guide. Here it is. This is by no means a comprehensive picture of the true addict. You understand that? And not one of us act out the same way. Why? Our behavior patterns vary, everybody. That's a huge... I can't sponsor Habibi. He does this and I do that. No, you can because your behavior patterns vary. But this description, what description? The one that we just went through on the last few pages, that we're sick, that we can't differentiate the true from the false. Our addict life is the only normal one, that we're beyond human aid, that we've lost everything, that we can't control the amount of anything we take. See, this description identifies us roughly. Based on your log and loser list, does this description, and that's why anyone can sponsor anyone. And if you have an issue with that, call me. I want to talk about it with you because my sponsor slams cocaine intravenously and bourbon. He does not slam men and money. I do. But we have the same solution, right? And the same problem. Because this is a lifestyle for a lifetime. And I want all the Habibis out there to wake up your part of the country. I'm not joking, babies. You guys die secretly. I'll never forget it. I worked with guys, Sri Lankan guys, Tamils. They die alone. It's not real big in their community to get help. So wake up your people in Egypt. Okay. Step 1, self-diagnosis. Put your name above there. NM's diagnosis. There it is. Nikki learned that Nikki had to fully concede, fully admit to my innermost self, to Nikki, not to mommy, not to my doctor, not to my boss, not to my government, to me, that I am an addict. Do I fully concede? Do I fully admit to the fact that I am an addict? Yes. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion. See, it's a lie. It's a lie from the pit of hell that we are like other people. That has to be smashed. My podcast today with Justin B. and the Rico family, and he said, and I know our host here, Everly, has said it, you have to smash the idea that you're like anybody, and not in a bad way, in a good way, that you have superpowers. Because your doctor will diagnose you with all these things, with depression, with my doctor diagnosed me with borderline personality disorder. Or, no, I'm not like anybody. I need to smash that idea and know that I have superpowers. And if I follow this, miracles happen. Are you convinced, Nikki, that you are an addict? That's a big yes. There it is. There it is. See, now you can show your sponsee. Look how far we've gotten. We're less than an hour and we are in the solution. You're an addict, an everyday sponsee. I want you to wake up every day and smash the idea that you're like anyone else. Not just today. See, that's where we stop. Oh, I did step 1. No, you got to do it every day. Hello. Smash it every day that you're like anyone. Here it is. Bad news. Don't leave your sponsees here. That's why you got to work the steps fast. Because if I stop with my sponsee right now and let them go and I don't meet with them for another day or 2 or 3 days, they're just going to be stuck on hopelessness. Don't leave them here. The bad news. We are without defense against the first thought, the first think. Why? Remember, we have a liar in us that can't differentiate between the true and the false. The liar always wins the argument. I can't differentiate the true from the false. always go back to the previous pages in this workbook. It will tell you what's going on based on your log list, on your human aid list. Is this your experience? Yes, I'm without defense. Nothing will stop me, not even the love of a child, not even all the money in the world. The idea, which is a lie, it's a lie. My ideas are lies that somehow, someday, everyone, that's insanity. That's insanity that Nikki, NM, will control. See, that's the lie. I'll never control anything. I will never enjoy my thinking unless I am in God thought, because my thoughts are about me. I suffer the disease of alcoholism. I will never control and enjoy my thinking. You understand this? See, that's the great obsession. One day I'll be able to think. Alcoholics, oh, I'll be sober for 10 years. And then when I get married at 35 and I'll have a glass of champagne. I've heard this. If you're an alcoholic, you can never drink again. Like, go deeper. Nikki, you are a raging Al-Anon codependent. Nikki, you can never tell anyone what to do with their life unless they ask for a suggestion. Because I like to walk around and tell everyone what to do. Nikki, you can never go on a dating app. That's just I can't do it. That's like scrolling for what kind of beverage I want. And Al-Anons and codependence and all the process addictions, that doesn't give you a green light to drink and get high and blot out your consciousness. Because if you do that, you know where you'll end up, in the fridge, in your ex's pants. No. Okay. See, it's a great obsession of every abnormal thinker. Oh, but I've got obsessive compulsive disease, Nikki. No, you don't. You have the disease of alcoholism. Nikki, you're not a doctor. The book told me what I have. I have a spiritual illness. So go to your human doctor. I'm not here to argue with you. Why? It says over any considerable period, Nikki gets worse, never better. Never better. I get worse, never better. Oh, alcoholics, addicts, sober, you never get better. That's why you see all the craziness in the rooms. They forget that you have to turn all things over. Here it is, many. And if you Google the word many, I want you guys in Egypt, I want you to, that's not just a few. That's a lot of people, many. Pursue what? Pursue the delusion, the lie that somehow, someday, they will control and enjoy their sick thinking that leads to the most crazy behavior. You see what I mean? Gates of insanity or death. Many pursue it to the gates of insanity or death. That's what they're pursuing, that lie. They refuse to see that I see it. I can't do that. Now I'm going so deep in year 12, I realize I'm getting angry a lot. I can't get angry. That's where I'm stopping right now. I have some habits. Those can go on hold right now. I can't get angry. That's killing me. See, because here it is. Write this in your notes. But here, first circle this answer. Based on your loser, all the things you've lost, is this your experience? That should be a big yes. Why? Because when my mind and body heals, the liar returns and says, Nikki, it's okay to think. It's okay to fantasize. It's okay to call him once. It's okay to stare at your bank account and think that you need money for something. Drinkers, it's okay. I'll just go hang out at the bar. I'll just go to the trap house, says my fentanyl addict. Are you awake, everybody? There it is. See, now you are properly armed with the facts about yourself. This disease, some of this book. Okay? So let's go a little deeper real quick here. You are now properly armed with the facts about yourself. My line out says, congratulations, you're going to die. You're armed with the facts. You're going to die because you're beyond human aid. So let's get your sponsee to the good news. Never leave your sponsee here, you guys. That's why I said book a 2-hour appointment. Most of you, if you're just starting the workbook and starting this method, you're going to have to, this will be 2 hours right here. Right when you get to the bottom of the page, you'll stop here, book your appointment for your next appointment. Not, I'll call you later. No, book your appointments. This is a doctor appointment. This is on life and death errand, says the big book. The good news, there's a solution, babies. New sponsees, new friends. If you are seriously addicted, as we were, that's the big book people believe, there is no middle of the road solution. All those logs, no human aid solution. Would you agree? That's a big hell yes. We're in a position where life is becoming impossible. Based on your loser list, is life becoming impossible? Yes or no? And if you pass into the region, see, this is what happens. We pass into a region from which there is no return through human aid. So I lose my mind a lot when I hear I'm going back to rehab. I'm going to get a dating plan. I'm going to do this, Nikki. I'm not going to sponsor Nikki until I get my ducks lined up in a row. Dead man walking. You're beyond human aid. Okay. You're beyond human aid. That's Nikki. Put your name there. I'm on page 6, bottom paragraph of your workbook. You have 2 alternatives. Number 1, here's where you're at a crossroad. And this is every day when you wake up, before you put your feet on the floor, before you go to your washroom, brush your teeth, and you go to the bathroom. You only have 2 choices. 1, go to the bitter end, blotting out the consciousness of your intolerable situation. It says, see your loser list, but I like to take my sponsees back to the very first paragraph. How are you blotting out the consciousness of your intolerable situation today, sponsee? Ask them that. Are you blotting out because you're not drinking, you're sober, you haven't used cocaine in 2 years. What are you doing? Oh, sugar, food, nicotine, gambling, sex. You're watching pornography. You're fantasizing. You're not even present. You're self-harming. You're overworking. Like, seriously, think about that. Show them you're codependent, basing your happiness on someone else. Show them how they're blotting out the consciousness of your intolerable situation. You are blotting out your consciousness based on your child's happiness. See, that sounds familiar. See a lot of you smiling because you know it's true. So here it is. 2 choices. Keep blotting out your consciousness or accept spiritual help. That's it. Yeah, I mean, this is radical. This Nikki did because I honestly wanted to. I honestly want to. And I'm willing to make an effort. This is when I remind my sponsee, you showed up. You're here with me. You did a great job. Sponsee, I'm really proud of you. Thank you, sponsee. Great job. You know, like, show them that they're honest. You were honest with me. You checked off everything, honey. That wasn't easy to do. Show them that wasn't easy to say you threw out your family. I know. See, are you ready? And then show them, yes, you are ready to accept spiritual help and you are willing to make the effort, because remember, our friends come in broken. They can't see anything. They hate themselves. They hate the world. Show them. Show them. And strange as this may seem to those, who's those? The normal people. All the people you see that can get through life and aren't wanting to suicide, homicide. Real radical, right? All the normal people, right? They don't understand, you guys. Like, I'm looking right at my sponsee there, you, mister, because we did this on the phone, so we can see each other now. You understand me, and we've talked about it, and I cry because this is a stranger who gets me more than my brother. He's 60-something, I'm 50-something, and this stranger, I can't even pronounce your name right. Everly will go through it later. Ahmed. No, Habibi. Right? You know me and get me more than my own brother, my own mother down the hall, my own children. It's a painful place to be, but it's a beautiful place to be, because here it is. Once my mind and my soul has changed, that has occurred, the very same person, that's Nikki, who seemed doomed. I'm a loser. I want to die and kill the man I love, or I thought I loved. I'm so delusional. I have so many problems. I can't find a way out of the hole. They despaired of ever solving their problems. I'm hopeless. Suddenly, fast, I can find myself easily able to control my desire for my obsessive compulsive behaviors, for my thinking, for my whatever you do, your drinking, your drug use, and drugs. Love is a drug. I don't care what you're snorting. Everybody shove this and turn it into a diamond. Shove it real far into your brain. The only effort necessary being that required to follow, you have to follow a few simple rules. And I always like to tell my sponsees, that doesn't mean, okay, here it is. You're in a Muslim country. That doesn't mean you have to become Buddhist, a Christian, a Jew. Stay where you are. I don't care. Doesn't mean you need to gay, turn straight. You're straight, turn gay. Doesn't mean you need to change the color of your skin or your hair. You don't need to come and sit next to me in Toronto. You need to follow the effing instructions, and they're laid out very simply in this workbook. And now we're here at 1 hour. So everyone, if you want to, I wish we had time to do a 1 minute stretch, but if I get up, I won't come back. I got my green juice, not my coffee. Just do a little neck roll. Everybody breathe, because at this point, you're probably 2 hours into it. It's enough. You see what I mean? I'm going through it quick. I'm going through it real quickly because, this is what we do on workshops. But yeah, tell your sponsee, I'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m., 10 p.m., never more than 2 hours. Okay. And if you finished early, like say you're at an hour and a half, don't try and squeeze in the next page. You're both tired. He's just detoxing. She's hysterical because she hasn't seen her child in 5 months. You understand. Leave it. Leave it. Just hold them. Love them. Love them. And make sure, bottom of the page, can you teach this? Yes, Nikki, you're going to be fine then. Let's do this. I love you. We fall deep in love here, and not that kind of love. You know what kind of love. Agape love. Okay. Here, I'm taking a little sip, and we're going to get into page 7, the essentials of recovery. And we're going to try and get through this real quick. And I'm hoping to end even in 45 minutes here, and then we can take a few questions. Rarely, I heard it was never, but we'll go with what the book says. Rarely have we seen a person fail. Newcomer, Nikki, anybody. The essentials of recovery is where we're at, page 7. Who is thoroughly is no half measures, NHM, followed our path, the recipe, the workbook. Those who do not recover are people, newcomers, the humans who cannot, will not completely. See, this is an all or nothing program. This is black and white. I'm sorry. And I love you enough to tell you, family, that this is a complete give yourself to this simple program. Usually men and women, and here it is. If you are constitutionally incapable of being honest, you are a psychopath. And I know that's probably the same in your country, Habibi, where if you guys can't follow a constitution, they'll just lock you up. So everyone can recover. We all can recover, which is beautiful about it. We all can recover. Why? We're not constitutionally incapable of being honest with ourselves. We can do this. That's NM, thought, that's a lie. I lie to myself. Remember, I can't differentiate the true from the false. We already read that. I thought I could find an easier, softer way, but I could not. Based on your log list, always rub that log and loser list into your sponsee's nose. Is this your experience? Yes, that's my experience. I cannot find an easier, softer way. I've tried everything. I'm from California, and it's going to be minus 32 in Canada, Celsius, everybody. It's going to be freezing. Like the sun, sea, and sand aren't everything. Half measures availed us nothing. This is a half measures avails us nothing program. Not perfect, but you got to give it your all. You will make mistakes. That's okay, but you gave it your all. It's like running a marathon. It's like running a race. If you don't make it to first place, you still gave it your all, even though you're in 10th place, Nikki. Make sense? This is real radical. Of alcoholics who came to AA, and this is in 1940, and really tried, no half measures, 50% got sober at once. These are some statistics to show your sponsee how watered down the message has become, and how way back in 1940, people were desperate, and at once they remained that way. What way? Recovered, because they really tried. And then 25% sobered up after some relapses. My line out says that means you have a 75% chance of recovery rates in 1940. Now, in 2024, wow, I heard some spearheads, some real spiritual giants in the room say it's like a 10% right now. People are not getting better. And those who stayed with AA showed improvement. Other thousands came to a few meetings. I don't care what fellowship you're in. You come to a few meetings and tell your sponsee, show them. And then you decide that you don't want the program. Line out. You need to burn more logs. You need more incomprehensible demoralization. You need more whale shit. That's a mammal, the whale, the largest mammal on the planet. And you want to be covered in their feces. Then you'll come crawling out of that hole. And we'll be here waiting for you. Remind your sponsee, we will be here. I will be here because I'm armed with the facts. I can't go anywhere. And I know you, I see you shaking your head, sir, you're going to be here too. So I see it a lot. They don't want the program. They go out and burn their life into the ground. They lose everything. They didn't lose their children last time. This time they've been taken. You understand? And here it is, but great numbers. About 2 out of 3 return as time passes. Here's our contract, everyone. We're going to start getting into a contract, you and me and my sponsee. I'm the sponsor. You're the sponsee. I'm the big book guide. You're going to get guided through and you're going to sponsor. I'm teaching you how to sponsor. We find that no one, including Nikki, including the sponsee, need have difficulty with the spirituality of the program. This is a spiritual program. All are welcome. A spiritual program. Willingness, honesty, open-mindedness are essential, are the essentials of recovery. But these are indispensable, meaning they cannot be dispensed. I live in Toronto, Canada. You can go to the marijuana shop and they will dispense marijuana, magic mushrooms, alcohol, food, Xanax, you name it, Oxycontins. They'll, even if you're coming off heroin, you can legally just go get some methadone. They will dispense that to you. I have not found a store in the world that dispenses willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness. You have to get it from inside you. Radical. And no, your mommy and your lover can't give it to you. And the love of my children. It's not going to work. This is radical. This is my contract between Nikki M and my Habibi. Here we go. Our understanding. This was our understanding as one addict working with another willing. That's it. Willingness. Are you willing to show up and do the work? Circle yes. And again, pump your sponsees up. Show them. You showed up. You even showed up early, sir. Cool. Honesty. This is how you sponsor. This is how you live life. This is how you parent. Will you answer questions honestly with a simple yes or no? Yeah, but kind of, sort of, Nikki. I'm almost a little bit. Yeah, but maybe. No. Yes or no? Yes or no? No yeah buts, no maybes. Open-mindedness, here it is. You have to lay aside any prejudice, any experience with the program, and assess the results for yourself. Yes. And the note here says, when I know I don't know, then I know I'm ready to know. Here's our job. Big Book Sponsor's job is to explain our approach one-on-one and win the newcomer's confidence. So above there, this is the Big Book Sponsor's job. This is our workbook job. We're sponsors. We have to win. We have to make the approach, of course, and win the confidence. Here it is. Number 1, but the X problem thinker, addict, that's me. I'm the X problem thinker. Number 2, I have found a solution, our recovery recipe. Number 3, I am armed with the facts about myself. I can generally win the entire confidence of another addict in a few hours. I can do it in a few minutes. I speak big book. I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to kill my lover. I'm beyond human aid. Let's do this. People are usually really ready to go. Don't start giving them a drunkalog. Make the approach. You're armed with the facts. I'm beyond human aid. Let's do this. Oh, they told me men stick with men and women stick with women. What page is that on? Let's do this. You're dying.
It's not on a page. It's found on 171 that they work with both men and women.
Get an Everly on your God squad. I need you, Everly, because I don't know technology. I don't know. I didn't even know about my superpowers. This is what happens. Right here is what happens. This kind of love. We understand each other. See? Until such an understanding is reached. What understanding? Winning the confidence, getting armed with the facts, finding a solution. There's nothing you can accomplish. Oh, and that's how you parent too. That's how you boss when you're an employer. This is radical. Okay, everybody, can you teach this page? This is how simple it is. Yep. Can you teach this page even in the middle of a hot flash, Nikki? Yes, I can. Okay. Yeah, remember, everybody. Men, remember, we're always having ups and downs. One day, I think I called you. I was in the middle of a blackout, Habibi. I think I don't get my period. I'm too old. I had my menopause. I was fasting. I was a nut bar, and you just loved me. That's all you did. You're like, thank you, Nikki. That's why we stay here, everybody. Let's all turn to page 8. Page 8 in your big book sponsorship workbook guide. I love this. This top paragraph is not just how you sponsor everyone. This is life instructions. So write that. This is how you live life. The person, that's me, the big book sponsor, who is making the approach. If you are in a room, and I had problems in my own fellowship because there was messaging in the fellowship that God showed me how to create about, call this person if you need a sponsee. No, that's not what the book says. It says we make the approach. And I speak big book. So I have a lot of issues sometimes in the rooms because that's not what that says. We make the approach. Why? Your person is withdrawing off fentanyl, losing a child to a drug overdose if you're in Canada. How about your wife has left you because she's sick of your shit? You can't make the approach. You're dying. Your sponsee's dying. You need to make the approach because you've had the same difficulty. See your log and loser list. Why? You obviously know what you're talking about. You're recovered. Your whole deportment shouts, I walk the talk. Oh, well, Nikki, you're always messing up. Someone in fellowship actually said, Nikki's always relapsing on her emotions. Hey, that's what we get, a daily reprieve. I'm just honest about it. I'm just radically honest about it. Whoever was gossiping about me. Anyway, that the new prospect, the newcomer, right? So our deportment shouts to the new person. I have a real answer. I'm recovered. Here it is. This is how we live life, not just sponsor. We are to have no attitude of holier than thou. We're not saints, preachers, crusaders, or mission makers. I learned this. This is how I parent. I run a very good Al-Anon program. Nothing except a sincere desire to be helpful. Did you hear that? Nothing. No accolades. Look at me. I'm the top sponsor. Nope. No accolades. Nothing except a sincere desire to be helpful. Same at work, everybody. You're not there to be employee of the year. You're there to have a sincere desire to be helpful. Yes, you get a paycheck, but you're going to want nothing in return. Here it is. There are no fees to pay. Run. Another issue I had in my fellowship. People were charging for things. I don't agree with that. Can't mix the spiritual with the material. We do this for free. Now, I know some of you guys are yoginis and you do separate things. Don't put it in my fellowship. Don't advertise it. Do it on the side. We do not mix the spiritual with the material. No access to grind. Let me know that's working out for you. I'm not going to beg you. No windy debates. Daughter, you think that's going to work for you? Go do it. I've been there, done that. We parent this way. We work this way. This is a life instruction book. No people to please. The people will put that on their inventory. It's just called dishonesty. Everyone write out, you're a damn liar if you're people pleasing. It's a lie from the pit of hell. No people pleasing. No lectures to be endured. No micromanaging, ladies. I know you like to micromanage your kids and men, you're getting the habit too because you're watching your girlfriend, you're watching your mother. Oh, you don't pick your nose that way. That's not how you're supposed to pick your nose. Stop micromanaging. These are the conditions. What conditions, Nikki? No attitude of holier than thou. Sincere desire to be helpful. No fees to pay. No access to grind. No people to please. No lectures to be endured. Those conditions are most effective. And after such an approach, many take up their beds and walk again. Don't hold people's hands in the grip of a progressive illness. You are getting a method with how to live, not just how to sponsor. If they don't want to stop thinking, drinking, using, acting out, if your kids don't want to stop and they're over 18 and they're adults, don't waste time. That's all you need to know. Line out. Don't be a spiritual nuisance. Don't be a nag. Don't be a wet rag to your family. Don't waste time. You're going to spoil later opportunity. I wanted my 20-year-old son desperate. And he came back to me and said, Mom, and I said, okay, are you ready to hear what I said? Because I'm here in my hot tub. Let me know how your life works out for you. Don't argue with people. You want them desperate. Go die. The more hopeless they feel, the better. They'll be more likely to follow your suggestions. Okay? If they're not sure, show them the log and loser list. You've lost everything. You're beyond human aid. Next thing, most addicts have to be pretty badly mangled. Show them their log and loser list. Where are you going? You're not going to another rehab before they commence, before they start to solve their problems. Is this your experience? Yes, this is my experience. We, Nikki, in our turn, I love this line because I have to do this every day. I have to seek the same escape, a recovery recipe. I have to seek these directions with all the desperation of a drowning person every day. See, I forget that I'm drowning sometimes, and then my ego gets built up. I become Miss Spearhead, and then I get nuts. I have to be drowning every day. I'm nothing without this power, without this way of thinking, without this way of living, without a sponsee in me getting to this power. Okay. We favor hospitalization, detox. Hey, codependence. Literally, just separate yourself if you have to go stay somewhere in a hotel room for a couple days to get out of it. Food addicts, separate yourself from your addiction. They only give detox in my country for hardcore fentanyl addicts and alcoholics. Where does the codependent go? Well, actually, we do have one. My friend went for codependence. We have it in Canada. But find a place to go and get separated from these things, right? Because you're jittery and you need to be befogged. It's imperative that their brain be clear, before they are approached. Again, it says we make the approach. It doesn't say call so-and-so if you need a sponsor. You make the approach. Why? Because they'll have a better chance of understanding and accepting what we have to offer if their brain is cleared, if your kids aren't angry, if you're trying to make the approach to people who are out of their mind, it's not going to work. Okay? It says here, if you have decided, that's your sponsee, and I put my name, Nikki, if I've decided that I want what recovered people have, what we have, they have a recovery recipe, yes, the workbook, yes, and are willing to go into any lengths to get it. Any lengths is follow the recipe. It's not come to Toronto and sit next to me, Habibi. It wasn't like, ooh, you better go and do this. You better go and do that. You better, not be Muslim. Whatever it is that you do, don't eat kebabs anymore. No, it's none of this stuff. It's just follow the instructions. That's all. It's so simple, but we want to put things on it. I knew a guy who said, if you want this, you'll wear the pajamas to the meet, and the person did. It's like, no, if you want this, you'll clean. Like, none of this goes on. The rooms are sick. I've been there. So here it is. Where am I here? Yeah. Willing to follow the recipe. Then you are ready to take certain steps. This is all about taking the 12 steps all day, every day. Ask the newcomer if they want to quit thinking, drinking, using, acting out for good. All sponsees, when I get here, they're like, yes, Nikki. Yes, pick me. There you go. And if they would go to any extreme, like, think about that. Think about what you've heard in the rooms. Any extreme is just follow the instructions of the big book. As our friend Everly just popped on and said, if it's not in the book or you can't reconcile it in the book, then your sponsor's lips should not be moving. And unless sharing from this point of view, going, my experience, strength, and hope tells me this. Because some things aren't in the book, and you do need to share your experience, strength, and hope. But no, I'm telling you right now, this extremes are thoroughly follow the instructions of the big book. And if they say yes, their attention should be drawn to you, Nikki. You put your name there as a person who has recovered. We have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind. In that blank space, share what your life is like today. I'm 51. I'm retired. I have a little grocery money job because groceries are so expensive, but I need it to keep my mind occupied. I have a hot tub. Most days I'm free. I fast. I'm a proud member of my community. I mean, wow, I have the respect of family again. You understand? That's what my life is like today. I have friends. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, thank you. I see you. It is beautiful. There we go. Last paragraph, and then can you teach this page, Sponsy? Well, Nikki, I'm not sure. What aren't you sure about? You got to be able to teach this. Yes, Nikki, I can teach it. Okay, what did you learn on here? Well, let's read the bottom paragraph and then. When therefore, here it is, we were approached by those in whom the problem had been solved, were recovered. Daily reprieve. There's nothing left for us, me, Nikki, my friends, but to pick up simple kit of spiritual tools laid at our feet. Ask your sponsee, are you now ready to pick up the simple kit of spiritual tools? Yes, Nikki, I am. There we go. Yes, Nikki, I am ready to pick it up. Awesome. Can you tell me what you learned on this page, sponsee? Well, what was cool, Nikki, is I didn't realize, not just for sponsoring, but I got to walk through life here wanting nothing. That I'm not to lecture anyone. I got to stop having a holier than thou attitude. And that not just my sponsee to be desperate, but my grown kids. Why am I giving them advice? You see? And now you're waking up your sponsee. And now they're realizing they can practice these principles in all their affairs. Now you've even got them on step 12. You see? Like, this is a radical way of sponsoring. Let's get to step 2 and we'll be done. I can pound this out real quick. So, can you teach this page? Yeah. Now we're on step 9. Which is cool because when we meet next Monday, we'll pound out step 3 and 4 real quick. Maybe we can get in there 5, 2 more sessions and we're done. That's how quick this is. Cool. Here we go. Step 2. We are on page 9. Came to believe. This is a process, not an event. You come to believe. You don't just happen overnight. I've been here 12 years and I'm going to tell you, it was only 4 years ago that I was rocked to my core when COVID hit. Oh, I was doing the dues, but to believe, yeah, that happened in year 8. So stay with us. That a power, everybody, no one's looking for God. We're looking for power greater than the booze, greater than myself, greater than the men, greater than the women and the money and the food and the toys, the Lamborghinis. Greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. We want sanity. Sanity, what is that? I have a whole bunch of definitions. I had a really good one, but I think it's just basically being a really good person. Isn't it? Like sanity, being kind, loving child of God. Okay, lack of power. That's your dilemma, Nikki. What do you mean? It's not my prime minister? You mean it's not my dad who left me? And no, Nikki, it's not. You mean it's not baby daddy number 2? No, it's your lack of power. See, when in doubt, you better see your log and loser list. Nikki, we had to find a power by which we, NM, that's Nikki M, could live. And it had to be a power. Power. No one's looking for God. Tell your newcomer. We're looking for power. Greater than what? Greater than me. Greater than the booze, the drugs, all those things that we read on page 3 of our workbook. Greater than your need to be right, obviously. But where and how were we to find this power? Well, that's exactly what this book, what this workbook is about. Its main object is to enable you, Nikki, to find a power. No one's looking for God, a power greater than your need to be right, greater than you, greater than all those acting out behaviors, which will solve your problems. And really, they solve all your problems. So we're on the second paragraph, page 9 of our Big Book Sponsorship Workbook Guide. What seemed at first a flimsy read. Okay, a flimsy read. Some other books call it a mustard seed, which is your first spiritual tool, a power greater than yourself. We're getting a new life here, you guys, a new way of thinking. Or if you prefer, a design for living, a foolproof recipe that really works. In nearly all cases, including Nikki M, including, put your name there, the newcomer's ideals must be grounded in a power greater than the drugs, the booze, the people. If hey, everybody, you're recreating your life. Look, go deep there. It says you're recreating your life. This is radical. I want everyone to remember we're in a condensed version of the big book. Step 2 has a whole entire chapter called We Agnostics. So this is just a summary to get your sponsee through the steps. And then they go back. I'm in year 12 right now, just going line by line through the big book. I'm just went through We Agnostics word for word. That's the first time I've ever done that. And I'm in year 12. Get through the workbook because all of this is a working part of my mind. Here's where you find God, everybody, deep down inside every man, woman, and child. Deep down in every woman, that's me, Nikki, child is the fundamental idea of God. It's obscured, it's blocked by calamity. What is calamity, everybody? It's world disasters. My friend's daughter was raped, murdered, cut up, and found on an island in garbage bags. Her daughter was the same age as my daughter, was just at her house with her and her husband. I mean, talk about miracles that they survived this. But I'm going to tell you something that blocked me from God for years. This is how you get to know your sponsee. Hey, you share calamity. Well, Nikki, I'm like, there's a major war that blocks me from God. Calamities, big things. How about your pomp? Your ego blocks you from God, Nikki. You think you know better than God. That blocks you from God, Nikki. And your worship of other things. My worship of sex and checks, of finance and romance, of men and money blocks me from God every time. But in some form or other, what's it? God is there. See, get your sponsee to name what they worship. You worship alcohol. You worship money. You worship your penis. You worship, I don't know what you worship, but you worship and it's not okay. You worship your mother's validation, mommy's boy. I'm picking on the boys today. I'll pick on the girls next week because we're so sick. Okay. Anyway, I love that you guys get me. If you're offended, call your sponsor, everyone. If you are offended, call your sponsor. Here we go. But in some form, it's there for faith and a power greater than ourselves, greater than the booze, greater than the drugs, greater than anything, greater than me, and miraculous demonstrations of that power in human lives are facts as old as humankind itself. Like, that's radical. See, that is radical. This is nothing new, this concept of God. This is not new. And I love Egypt because you guys, they want us to believe that world started just a couple thousand years ago. Those pyramids, hello, miracles. This concept of God is nothing new. We're all going to Egypt, Habibi. Okay, there you go. The world's coming to you. We're going to do this workshop live one time. That's mustard seeds. I digress. Here we go. It says, we finally saw. See, Nikki is finally seeing that faith in some kind of God is part of my makeup, just as the feeling we have for a friend. And I explained that to you, Habibi, when we worked together. It's like, okay, you love me already and I love you. Now, if I stole from you, if I slept with your wife, if I, beat your kids, you would hate me. And that's what happens with us and God. We start blaming God. God did this to me. God did that to me. God didn't do it. We're going to find that out. But that's why it says right here. It says right here, it's part of our makeup, like the feeling we have for a friend, but it's been blocked by the calamity of the world, by our ego, and by the worship of other things. Sometimes we have to search fearlessly. Everybody ask your sponsee, have you really searched fearlessly for God? And they're going to say yes, and I'm going to call bullshit. You haven't really. You searched fearlessly for your need to be right. You've searched fearlessly to have your ducks in a row. You've searched fearlessly to have the money to get in the good books in your mosque, in your church, in your synagogue, and your yoga mat again. But you haven't searched fearlessly for God. Come on, wake your sponsees up. Nikki, you're not searching fearlessly for God right now in year 12. You're searching fearlessly for your need to be right. Make sense? Okay. But God, the power, the spiritual principles are there. Now, there's a fish story in the workbook. Go read it. I don't mess with it. God was as much a fact as we were. We, that's Nikki M. Nikki found the great reality. Oh, there's another word for God. There's another word for power, the great reality. I'm a fantasy addict. I don't like to live in reality. And where do you find it? Deep down within me, not in the bank account, not in the bottle, not in the baggie, not in his pants. In me is where the great reality is. In the last analysis, I've looked for God everywhere. It is only there. Where? Deep down inside of me, deep down inside every man, woman, and child is where we find God. That's where God may be found. God was so with us. See, everybody, it's not in your bottle. Wake your sponsee up. Show them. You've been looking for it in your social media, little 26-year-old, getting the validations. You've been looking for it in your face injections, 32-year-old. You've been looking for it in the bank account, mommy. It's only inside of you. Wake your sponsees up. That's me right now, but that's a big book sponsor. BBS, we can only clear the ground a bit. Bill W., Bob, Dr. Bob, Roland, they can only clear the ground a bit. If their testimony helps, okay, go deep on here. Every day, number one, put it there. Every day you need to sweep away your prejudice. Every day. Every day you need to, number two, think honestly. Every day you need to search diligently within yourself. Then if you wish, new sponsee, you can join me and my friends on the broad highway. It's a broad highway. What? You're still drinking 10 cups of coffee a day? You're still having an affair with your mistress? Okay, well, let's just stop with the alcohol and drugs. It's a broad highway. Don't get your sponsee to quit everything because they'll die. Seriously. Love addict. Okay, let's just stop with you calling him right now. Okay, food addict. Let's just stop with the sugar and the carbs. Like, get your sponsee to commit to one thing. So stop with the alcohol and the drugs. You'll never do anything. And then take them through. It's a broad highway, gets very narrow. Yes. With this attitude, what attitude, Nikki? Sweeping away your prejudice every day, thinking honestly and searching diligent. With that attitude, you're not going to fail, new sponsee. When Cameron told me that, when my sponsor said you're not going to fail, I was ready. See, because then he's told me this, and I love this line, everybody. The consciousness of your belief, not of all our friend in Egypt, not our friends in Toronto, your belief, not of Bill W.'s belief. This is so radical. You get to pick your God here. Tell your sponsee, it was just described on page 9 of our workbook here, a loving and powerful hand of God. You get to pick your own God. It's inside of you. They've seen it. You're not going to find anywhere. See, your consciousness of your belief. You've had the belief of your society. Nikki, you were given a whole belief system. You were told you're this, you're that, you're that, you're that. You get to choose your belief system. And here's a promise. It's sure to come to you. Some of us grow into it more slowly. Hey, everybody, we do not work the steps slowly. We grow into our consciousness slowly. Some of us, but God, the power, the spiritual principles come to all who have honestly sought it. When we drew near to God, when we drew near to this power, God discloses itself to us. I do use this picture in the workbook. It's the Michelangelo picture. You can turn to the back of your book or you can Google it. And if you look at that picture's what, 400 or 500 years old. There is God, a white dude. Forget that being some guy in the sky. Not your sky daddy. That's just the energy of love. All those little cherub angels around it are the principles. And they're in what? Is that a brain or a heart? And look at the hand of God reaching for you. And then look at you. I always tell the girls, look at you. You're laying on your back, spread eagle, waiting for some guy to fall into you and save you. Look at you. Sorry, your wrist is limp. My guys are too high on cocaine even to get their penis hard. Look at it. Look at that picture. God's always reaching for you, but you're too busy in your disease of addiction. Show them that picture. A picture's worth a million words. That concept of God is not new, but we all think, well, we're living in the most modern times. We're the most smartest people ever to walk the face of the earth. No, we're not. God, I got to get to Egypt and see those pyramids. Those are the smartest people. Aliens? I don't know who did it. We'll talk about that another day, everybody. Last sentence on this paragraph, with few exceptions. Few exceptions are members. Everybody, make your decision to become a member of this way of life. we find that we have tapped. It doesn't say we've just sucked in, we have absorbed. We have just tapped an unsuspected inner resource. This is inside of you. Inner resource. And they're not talking about inside the bottle, inside the green juice, inside the coffee. It's in you, which we presently identify with their own conception of a power greater than themselves. That means everybody's welcome, okay? So here it is. That means everybody. Sufis, you have a home. Jews, atheists, agnostics, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, natives, Mormons, everybody, yoginis, nature people, everybody's welcome here. Sony, can you unmute and just read the step 2 instruction? And that's where we're going to leave off.
We needed to ask ourselves but one short question. Do I now believe? Do I now believe, or I am even willing to believe that there is a power greater than myself? Yes or no? As soon as a person...
Wait, pause. Don't let your sponsees read on. So we're just going to go a little live right now, like you're my sponsee. Don't let your sponsees read on. What's your answer, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, and then show them, like you talk about it, because it says, ask yourself, did you put your initial there? Short question, willing to believe in this power? And that's how you kind of noodle it back and talk about it with your sponsee. Don't let them just keep reading. Now read the next sentence.
As soon as a person can say that they do believe or is willing to believe, we emphatically assure them that they are on their way.
Very good. So see, there it is, as soon, which is fast, Sony. It's very fast. A person, put your initials up there. S, I don't know your last name, but put your initials. As soon as you can say you do believe or willing to believe, emphatically. Emphatically means 100% sure. And I love you because you speak 2 languages. So just, it means we're 100% sure. We're going to assure you that you, Sony, you're on your way. Okay, next sentence.
It has been repeatedly proven among us that upon the simple
cornerstone,
a spiritual structure can be built.
There we go. So that's it. So see, and this is rad. I just had a sponsee in Mexico too. English was his second language, and I became smarter through it. So it's been repeatedly proven. And you can just show your sponsee, like, there it is. It's a fact, Sony, that you're not 10 years old. You know how to build things. It's like you need a cornerstone to build this structure, right? We're building this structure. And you're on your way. And so that's it, you guys. I mean, okay, so I think we're done, Everly. Unmute. We need Egypt to go to sleep. Sleep's important. Yeah. Making your bed is important. Habibi, are you making your bed every day, or is your wife doing it?
Yeah, me.
Good boy.
I'm doing for myself.
Can you close the meeting? Because I want to hear your Arabic prayers.
You want me to end up the meeting with the Serenity Prayer?
Yes,
all right.
Whatever you want. It's your meeting, and guess what, Habibi? It's your part of the country. Can we please hear it in your native tongue? This is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa, for translating the workshop, and Everly. I love you all. So, اللهم امنحنا السكينة لنتقبل الأشياء التي لا نستطيع تغييرها، والشجاعة لتغيير الأشياء التي نستطيع تغييرها، والحكمة لمعرفة الفرق بينهما. شكرا. Thank you. Love you all.
Shukran. Hey, everybody, we're here next Monday at 2 p.m. my time. What time? Your time, Habibi? What time?
Bye,
everybody.